What's up with those EIDL grants? Why have we not gotten those EIDL grants? Well, there's a couple reasons we haven't gotten those EIDL grants. One is because Section S513 has not been signed. Another is because an executive order has not been signed by the president. Another is because there has been no more committee hearings for appropriations to reconfigure the legislation on it so that Isabel Guzman can give us the money openly and without any setbacks or recourse for it. Now, another one is probably Isabel Guzman going over the books and round and through and doing this on her own. None which have happened yet. We need to get that policy map removed. As we know, everybody like, subscribe, click that notification button so when I get information out, you can get information in. I will hope that this video gets out to you freshly because I'm having a lot of problems today with my audio video, so please bear with me if it's a little furry or fuzzy on your screen. I'm sorry to say, we do edit around here. Right, Jason McElhone? He always says, I don't edit around here. Well, I do. Shout out to my boy Jason. Yeah, as far as what happened the other day with the SBA saying that Natalie Walters, the editor or the writer for the Dallas Morning News about your EIDL grants, Herbert Austin, she didn't rebut. She basically came back out and said on TV, basically, they said, okay, well, it's not a problem that the SBA is having with you, Natalie. It's a problem that the SBA is having with the applicants. Here's what they said, just to give you a little bit of input on how that went. Let me pull that up for you.
The U.S. Small Business Administration is defending its call for more low-income grant applications for 2 COVID grant programs, even as business owner complaints pile up. Some businesses say they applied months ago and are still waiting for funding. Others are upset because they operate just outside of a low-income area. And joining us now to talk about the friction between the SBA and applications is Natalie Walters, the money reporter over at the Dallas Morning News.
There we go. There's the Dallas Morning News. This is NBC, and here's Natalie Walters, who she sold the story to, was NBC. She is a writer for them, and she is the one who said, look, I know what I heard Herbert say. And she is basically saying the same thing he does. It's the stupid policy map. I'll continue.
Natalie, glad you're with us.
Thanks for having me this morning.
Glad to have you here. So first off, the SBA says it has a lot of grant money left over to give out, which is why these businesses are outraged. So how much money are we talking about here, Natalie?
Right. So for the first grant, they had $30 billion to give out and have only given out $1.5 billion. So tons left over there. But then there's a second grant, and
you hear that? There's $30 billion. She said there was $30 billion in the, we all know that, $30 billion in the EIDL fund for your $10,000 loans. They've only given out $1.5 billion of that. She's absolutely right.
That had $5 billion to start with, and they've only given out, a little over $500,000. So a lot left over there as well. And so
that one there she's talking about is the supplemental grant as well. So they've only given out, I believe it was $500 million. She might have made a mistake on that. Not $500,000, but anyway.
You can see why, as they start this sort of aggressive marketing campaign to try to get more applicants, those who have a...
And you heard that. They're starting a more aggressive applicant. They're trying to they're actually buying candidates to get applications, to give them applications so that they can give more money out. And they haven't even taken care of those that do have applications, like us, like the 1.8 million that have been put in for applications. We put in 1.8 million applications have been sent to the SBA. Less than 10% of that, or maybe 10%, less than 10% of that, I believe, has been accepted for that. So with that said, there were 10 million to begin with, only 1.8 million applied, and only 180,000 or so have gotten the EIDL grant, which is totally, it's not going to fly.
Waiting on funds, or those who applied and were denied funds because they don't live in a specific area are feeling frustrated and wondering why they can't get funding when their business is also hurting.
Okay, let's talk more about this issue here. Why are these business owners, these businesses frustrated with this particular program?
Right. So, a lot of the business owners say, when we applied last year for loans and also some of the grants the SBA offered, it was very quick and painless.
That's
and,
you.
It helped us through the pandemic. But this time, because there are some qualifications, the biggest one being you need to live within a low income area based on a mapping tool the SBA created. It's more complicated, things are slower, and it's not that immediate approval process that businesses saw last year, and they're feeling frustrated.
Okay, so I stop her right there for a minute. She's right about that in a sense. Like when we first got the grant last year, we had gotten it pronto. It was quick. They didn't know anything about COVID. They sent out the grants like that. Bam, 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 bam. The Trump administration, we got to admit, Carranza and Mnuchin, as bad as they sucked, they were quick with getting the money out during the pandemic for the first round. Bam, it was out. But the frustration now is that they've had so much time to oil the sprockets and to get the system in place that we should not be having the lack of funds like we're having, the wait that we're having and the denials that we're having, which, yes, that's one of the big reasons why we're frustrated.
I talked with one business owner. He
I'm
said,
feeling frustrated.
if I don't get this grant, I'm not going to make it past July 1st. I've already run through my retirement and my savings. And, I was approved in April, but I have a banking issue and I still don't have my funds. And I talked with a massage therapist. She was approved in February. She didn't receive her funds till June 24th. And in that time, she's treading water. And so, something interesting is that 1.7 million people have applied to that targeted advance, which is the first grant, but only 193,000 have been funded. So you can see there's a big difference there. And the SBA says, a decision has been made on most of those 1.7 million. So that means, probably a lot were denied and are feeling frustrated.
Yeah, that 1.7 million, that is an incredible number. The question people are probably asking, has the SBA responded to any of those complaints?
Right. So I talked with the SBA and they said, we can have more.
This is where she had a chance to rebut her statement that Herbert Ross made, and she didn't. You can clearly see that she's defending the small businesses. Well, we all want to take our hat off to you, Natalie Walters, and say thank you for defending the small businesses of America.
Applicants, because of the 1.7 million that have applied, those have mostly been processed and the decision has been made, even if the person is unhappy with it, or even if an error has come up or an issue that's going to make it take longer. They have at least been processed through. So we need more applicants coming in to have a steady stream of applicants. And he was talking about, obviously they've had a huge load on them this past year. He says for the overarching.
Okay, that's good. We've heard enough. And once again, I want to thank her for getting this article out and getting the news up to date, getting people up to speed that she knows what she said, or she knows what she heard Herbert Austin say. And the people, we are frustrated. The small businesses are frustrated about them banks, about those grants. And we're going to continue to be frustrated until we get that $10,000 EIDL grant that was promised us in the CARES Act. Now, here's another question I want to ask real quick, because everybody was here for last year. You were here for last year. We were trying to push S4227 through the floor. Well, what happened to these co-sponsors? That's my question, is what happened to Markey Edwards? Dude, what happened to you? What happened to Senator Jones? He's gone. I get that. The Doug Jones is gone. But Von Hollen's not. Markey's not. Tim Kaine's not. Tina Smith isn't. Mark Warner's not. And Kristen Sinema isn't. The only one left is a co-signer, ladies and gentlemen, for the S513, which is basically a mimic of S4227. The only one that came back and signed it was Senator John Cornyn from Texas. That's kind of disgraceful. It's discouraging, and it makes me wonder. We were in an election year, and I just want to say we're going back into an election year, and people are going to start, oh, the elections are going to help the elections. I want to say there's 8 co-sponsors there. 7 are Democrat. 1 of them is a Republican. The only one that came back to co-sponsor it is the Republican. It kind of makes you wonder what these Democrats, why they were so heave-ho on signing this, because they wanted the small business vote. Did they get it? Did they get the small business vote? Because I'll tell you what we just heard Natalie Walters say is the administration from the Trump administration is doing better than the administration of the Biden administration. That's sad. That's very sad. Next, I also want to bring in a little bit of good news to the area here to let you all know. Here is Fundbox, which is what I went through to get my PPP loan. I got this email today saying, guess what? You do not need to repay your PPP loan. The SBA has forgiven your loan in its entirety. So if anybody out there has Fundbox or whatever PPP lender you were using, you should be getting, if you have put in a forgiveness application. I put mine in about 2.5, 3 months ago. And I'm just getting it back now. So just to let you guys know out there, and I did hear a couple other people say, hey, I finally got my application back, that my PPP loan has been forgiven. Just to let you know, guys, that stuff is happening as well. As more of those loans, 24 months, are starting to be processed and approved right now, and a lot of those people that have been waiting for a substantial amount of time at this moment right now, I am getting emails and comments as well saying, finally got it. Speak, thank you very much. And I would also like to encourage more comments up there if you've gotten it, how long it take. If you haven't gotten it, where are you at? So that people here can have a place to come and look and get this information to each other and help each other out on the comments below as well. I will let you know I am in the second or third day of processing right now for my EIDL loan, as I was approved and I signed my docs a couple days ago. I'll keep you guys updated on that. So far it's been, I believe, 33, 34 days into it. I will keep you guys updated on that as well. That way I can a specific timeline that I can also give to you. So once again, shout out to Jason McElhone and all he's doing right now for getting your grants for you. We're going to continue working hard for you to get those grants. Shout out to Robert Dunham and all the work he's been doing, as well as everybody out there. That Brian for protesting the other day in front of SBA. Our hats are off to you as well, my friend. Elaine, I'm sorry if I forgot your name, but I could just go on all night just bragging about every one of you guys out there. I want to say thanks again and congratulations again, Guido. Like, subscribe, and somebody say, hey, I want my 10K. Somebody, give it to me. Somebody, give it to me. Somebody. Yeah. Somebody say, hey.